buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, depende de dónde ustedes me están viendo. Hoy día tengo un invitado muy especial en el Entre Nos de Sattwa. Él es el doctor Suhas Kshirsagar. Did I pronounce well, doctor?
That's right. That's perfect. That's pretty good.
Él es un médico ayurveda y astrólogo médico de renombre mundial. Él viene de una familia de sanadores védicos tradicionales en la India. Él tiene un BA en medicina ayurvédica y completó una residencia de 3 años como MD, doctorado en medicina interna ayurvédica en la prestigiosa Universidad de Pune en India. El doctor Suhas Kshirsagar es un sanador compasivo, médico experto que dirige la clínica de curación ayurvédica y bienestar integrativo en el norte de California. Como orador y conferencista, solicitado también, es muy solicitado, viaja por todo el mundo impartiendo cursos de Ayurveda, formando médicos y proporcionando consultas ayurvédicas a miles de pacientes. Yo tuve el honor de conocerlo en el Centro Chopra cuando estaba estudiando Salud Perfecta. Y él es también el encargado si se quiere, de todo el material de estudio que tiene el Centro Chopra. Es un honor para mí presentarlo. Thank you very much, Dr. Suha. Thank you very much for your time. And I was letting everybody know all your curriculum in Spanish. Dr. Suhas, in this interview, we are going to talk about change your life. What do you mean when you say change your life? How can we do this?
Well, it's a very good question, Laura. And the reason why I say change your life is because your schedule and your life has become very interconnected. One of the biggest problems that I see in my clinical Ayurvedic practice is everyone has become very busy. It's so busy that with the smartphone, with internet, you're kind of working round the clock. How many people that you know that the first thing that they do when they wake up in the morning is to look at their phone? And the last thing that they do in the night before they close their eyes is to also look at their phone. Yeah. So life has gotten very busy, and before we realize it, it is changing the whole physiology. Our schedule is dictating our physiology. So if you really want to become healthy and happy, you need to change your schedule, and I promise you, it will change your life. The book that I wrote, Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life, which is translated in Spanish to Cyclo de Vital, which simply means is the perfect template to understand and synchronize your internal circadian rhythms of light and darkness right down to the cellular level itself. When we're talking about our bodies are literally like time machines, and the time is embedded in our genes, not only at a cellular level, but at a genetic level. And a couple of years ago, there was Nobel Prize given to 3 American physiologists who discovered clock genes which behave like a clock. Yeah. And those clock genes not only highlight the importance of biological timing, but also validates the ancient Ayurvedic principle of daily routine and seasonal routine. And you have studied this, and I'm so proud of your work, Laura. What you're doing with Sattwa is educating people that health is important, your daily routine is so important, yes. What you eat, how you think, how your emotions are so important. Is that right?
Yes, Dr. Suha. That is so right. And it's one of the main reasons why I chose Ayurveda, because, when you work together with nature, because, we have the circadian rhythm, right? That the nature has, we also have that inside. And that is what I want to teach everybody, because when you have respect for your schedule, for your different times during the day and night, then you feel vital, you feel healthy, right? You feel full of energy, and your digestion is good and everything. And
And,
like you, huh?
and I think what is important is what I see in my clinical practice, that this busyness, super busy quality of life,
Yeah.
internet, emails, text messaging, social media, everything has increased the speed of life. We call it as vata. Vata has increased tremendously. The new sleep-wake cycle can be simply described as either you're online or offline. You're constantly online when you're awake, and you are offline only time when you're sleeping. So what it is doing is it is making us disconnected from our body, from the
Yeah.
basic bodily functions, rhythms like thirst, hunger, sleep, elimination, and many more. And I often tell my patients, it's not you, but your schedule. And the reason why this is so important, because it doesn't matter whether you're living in Latin America or whether you live in the United States, the internet has changed our life.
Yes.
Because 1990, when the World Wide Web, as we call it, as internet, came into effect, 2002 was probably the first mobile phone that came out.
Mm-hmm.
2004, okay, just look at this timeline.
Yeah.
2004 when Facebook, now Meta, was launched.
Yeah.
2005 when YouTube was launched. 2006 when Twitter came out. 2007 was the first Apple smartphone that came out. So just a decade ago, life was different. In last 10 years, because of the advent of internet highway, our body has, everything has gotten into a fast pace.
Yeah.
In 1990, only 1% of people used internet for telecommunication in 1990s. In 2000, 50% of the world was using internet for telecommunication. Now, 97% of the world use internet for telecommunication. So what it is telling us, that we are taking it to the next level. We are becoming more and more disconnected with our body. And the new science of chronobiology, chrono means time,
Yeah.
biology means the biological functioning. Our biology has time to respond to sunlight. When the sun comes out, what it does to your body. When the sun sets, what it does to your body. Body
Yeah.
carries out different functions during the day and in the night. And if we are syncing what we are doing with what body is trying to do, we are healthy. But if we are not synchronizing that activity, then that desynchronization is leading to weight gain, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, you name it, and you can have it. So
Yeah.
now in modern medicine, we say that the circadian disruption is the main cause of many chronic diseases.
Yeah, it's amazing what everything that you're saying, Dr. Suhas, because in November, I was feeling so tired of social media, and I didn't have vacation. I didn't have vacation like for 5 years, working with my mind, looking for information for Sattva, articles and writing and everything. And all of a sudden, I couldn't go anymore. I was like, no, I cannot do this. And I stopped in November. I went, for a vacation, if I can call it like that. And I said, I'm going to be on vacation until March. But Dr. Suhas, it was not in November or in December that I felt, the effects of Vata. I started in January to start feeling dryness. My thoughts were like running, and I was like, whoa, it's so true that it's not immediately, but what is going on today happens like 2, 3 months before, right?
Absolutely, because the body accumulates. It
Yeah.
accumulates the degree of imbalance, and it takes time before it manifests as a disease. And suddenly, I see so many people in my practice that they have, oh, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's yesterday, or I was diagnosed with this autoimmune condition, and I was perfectly fine last week, but suddenly it came out. It did not come out suddenly. It is
Yeah.
all the stress that you are putting on your system for a long time until when the system breaks down. And it's very difficult to reverse from there. So it's a good idea to stop and pause on a daily basis.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about Sattva is all about mind, body, and spirit. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I tell my patients that every night when you hit your head to the pillow, when you're ready to sleep, when you turn off the light, you ask 3 questions to yourself every night. What did I do for my body today that made my body feel good? Did I exercise? Did I nourish it with good foods? Did I eat lots of colorful plant-based vegetables and fruits? Did everything in order for my body to feel good? Did I give it an oil massage or whatever it is? Then the second question is, what did I do for my mind today?
Yeah.
Whether I found some time, quiet time for meditation, whether I was able to get some fun and laughter in my life, whether I did something interacting with the elements of nature that made me really happy and relaxed. What did I do for my body, my mind?
Yeah.
And then what did I do for my spirit today? Did I find time for finding my spiritual connection? Whether it's a prayer or a chant, whether it's a deep meditation or doing something that establishes spiritual connection. And if you are able to answer these 3 questions positively every night, that's what you're supposed to do. You can do your day job and pay your bills and pay your mortgages and all those things. But at the end of the day, your full-time job is to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. Because
Exactly.
the trinity of that is keeping you alive. The
Yes.
trinity of mind, body, and spirit is keeping you alive. If any of those tripod of life, as we call it, gets disconnected, you're just likely to fizzle out. You're going to create diseases, miseries, challenges, premature aging, and all of that is going to happen much sooner than you are going to expect. And I think from an Ayurvedic perspective, Ayurveda is the original lifestyle medicine. Is that right? It's the original lifestyle medicine. It's called a science of life because it teaches you how to live life, taking good care of yourself so that you become a good vehicle to manifest everything you want to do and enjoy life in a balanced manner.
Exactly.
It's a science which tells you to enjoy life, but in a balanced manner, because you can't run away from it. And especially with chronobiological understanding, you have no choice. You have no choice because our planet Earth is swirling on its axis at a dizzying speed, and it is moving around sun at great speed. Whether you like it or not, the day and night are created. Whether you like it or not, the seasons are created. So the effect of that means you live in Chile, I live in United States. We have winter here, you have summer there.
Summer. Yeah.
So it's different. But the fact is that the effect that this movement of sun, earth, planet creates on our biology, on every species, down to even a single cellular organism, is feeling the impact of light and darkness. That chronobiology is hardwired. It's intricately connected, inflexible biology. And yet all our social and economical systems of modern lifestyle provoke it constantly. All the epidemic that we call about, obesity, metabolic syndrome, insomnia, insulin resistant, depression, can all be linked. And one of the things that I spoke in this book was very interesting because we used to talk about what are you eating, what are you doing, this and that. But the science now is all about when. It's not what, but when. When you eat is as important as what you eat. When you sleep is as important as how much sleep you get. When you exercise is as important as how much exercise you get. Your daily schedule, what you do since you wake up in the morning till you go to sleep, will simply determine your weight, your stamina, your cognition, your mood, and overall general health. And you can't outsource that. You are living your life and you should be fully responsible how you design your schedule on a given day.
Yeah, you are so right, Dr. Suha. It's amazing. You know, when I teach Ayurveda, when I give the perfect health courses here in Chile, people tend to look at me and say, when can I find time for everything that you're saying? You know, your daily routine, for example, in the morning, wake up, I don't know, meditate, clean your tongue, do bowel movements, the dinacharya, you know how it's called in Ayurveda, in Sanskrit. And people don't find the time. And I said, but you're going to find the time to get sick. You know, if you don't follow certain routines that you have to follow to preserve your own health, because without health, we can do anything.
Yeah, in Ayurveda we say dharmartha kama mokshanam arogyam moolam uttamam. So health is the basis of everything that you want to achieve and accomplish in life. Whether you want to do your dharma, your rightful duty as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, as a business owner, it's your duty, your dharma. But if you want to do that properly, you have to be healthy. If you want to earn money, artha, wealth, abundance, prosperity, you need to be healthy. In order to even enjoy the money you have to be healthy.
Exactly.
Karma is the same. Desire, fulfillment, whatever you want to eat, digest, enjoy, healthy sexual life, whatever. If you're healthy, you're able to do that. If you're not, no matter how much money you have, you're not able to enjoy that. And even moksha, which is your pursuit for liberation or enlightenment.
Yeah.
If you're hurting, you're in pain, you're in distress, you're having a disease, you won't be able to close your eyes and meditate and move towards higher states of awareness and consciousness. So pain and sickness and disease is an obstacle to enlightenment. So in order for you to fulfill all these purusharthas, as we call it, you have to be healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And people tend also to don't want to eat, not even at the right time. For example, midday until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the most. They have, no, I don't have time. I'm going to eat at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, but that's not the time. And if you do it, you know, all the time, if you have that habit all the time, then at the end you have illness. But why you don't do your, for example, your lunch a priority, maximum at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maximum. Why you don't do that a priority? If you have your health, it's a priority, you know. But like you said, in this hectic world, you know, people tend to not have time for themselves, you know.
And you're right, because if you don't make time for yourself and telling yourself every day that you're important, because never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Okay,
exactly.
You don't make a living and a life together. And I think that busyness, you're right, because every time I hear that also in my practice, where people say that they don't have time. And what has happened is, we call it as time poverty. Okay, you are cash rich but time poor. You are cash rich but time poor. It's a perennial time scarcity. Everyone you meet, their schedules are overflowing and they don't have time. And what they do is they try to squeeze their own time out. They put their own time over anything else, because what we are taught nowadays, time in relation to money. This many hours you work, this much money you make. Once hours that you put into work, so you say this many dollars per hour that you are paid. So the once hours are financially quantified, then you are either wasting, saving, using time, is all related to profits. When economies grow, income rises. Is that right? Countries become rich and everybody's time becomes more valuable and scarcer. Time is money. That's the mindset that we have. And what we are doing is we are becoming stingy with time to maximize money. And I think that is creating most of the problem, where people are getting sick. They have lots of money to spend on their health, but they don't have time to spend on themselves. They don't have time to do yoga. They don't have time to meditate. They don't have time to cook healthy food for themselves.
Yes, that's true. And it's why also Dr. Suhas, now on this time in the world, you can hear a lot of people talking. You were saying that before, talking about disease, autoimmune diseases. We didn't have that. You know, I remember that we never talked about, for example, fibromyalgia or lupus or diabetes so often. And now it's like table conversation everywhere. And it's like in the family, you have 1, 2, 3 that, oh no, I have diabetes. No, I have lupus. And I'm like,
Yeah, because these are all diseases which are immune system and nervous system, they are intricately connected. They talk to each other every day, constantly. And so whatever is going on in your nervous system is affecting your immune system at the same time. Before you realize, you are creating these immune disorders, either underactive immune system or hyperactive immune system.
Yeah.
And this pandemic that we're talking about, the COVID situation, actually highlighted that fact a lot, because COVID was something was coming from outside. It was a virus that was coming in. But not everybody got terribly sick with that. Only those people who had very inflamed and aggravated system got really sick with that, because the response to the virus was what we call it as a cytokine storm, created a hyperinflammatory response. And that what made them very sick and got hospitalized, and lack of oxygenation and things like that. So our immune system was compromised. And if we are not realizing one thing from pandemic, to slow down and take better care of ourselves, and all the countries in the world should be focusing more and more on this topic to guide their own citizens, to really help them prioritize what is right and what is good for them. And think about it, about 10, 15, 20 years ago, there were no fast food places. There were no junk food places to eat. Everybody ate decent foods, and even restaurants that you go to were cooking foods and everything. The drive-through version of everything, drive-through food, drive-through coffee. Who has time to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee? Okay, means people don't want to even wait to have someone prepare a cup of coffee and sip it properly and enjoy it. Or same with food. It's all the drive-through mentality, which is putting everything in a faster lane.
Yes, yes. It's just like you say, Dr. Suha, because here in Santiago also they have the problem, they commute, the distance from their houses, and then they come to their job like around, I don't know, they leave home around 6 o'clock in the morning, and then they come back like around 9, 8 in the at night, and they eat anything during the whole day, then the consequences are bad.
And I think that is what I said in my earlier book, The Hot Belly Diet. You have the copy of that.
I have that book here. The Hot Belly Diet. It's beautiful.
So one of the things that I mentioned in Hot Belly Diet, and I think the Spanish version is La Dieta de Fuego or something. So
La Dieta de Fuego, sí.
So you should be able to find that. And one of the things that I mentioned in Hot Belly Diet was eat late to gain some weight.
Yeah, I remember that.
And sleep late to gain some weight. If you are eating late and sleeping late, you will gain weight, no matter what. How much exercise you do or what you do, eating late and sleeping late will make you gain weight. And I think that's the problem. What happens is people hardly eat anything during the day. They come back home and they slump and they want to eat a big meal with wine and meat and all kind of things. And then by 8:30, 9:30, they eat that big meal and go to sleep. And when you sleep, your heart rate, pulse rate, respiratory rate, metabolic rate, everything slows down. And that big meal just sits into your belly without getting digested. For 6, 7, 8 hours, it creates mucousy ama in the system without getting digested. And you wake up puffy, swollen, congested, dull, heavy, groggy, toxic, and tired. And then you need 1, 2, 3 cups of coffee to get going. And that coffee is suppressing your agni further and further. It's raising your cortisol, which is really bad for you, and weakening your digestive system. And then you skip your breakfast. Then you eat late lunch. Then you hardly eat anything. Then you again come back late home in the evening and have a big meal. And you do that Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, you have license to eat late and sleep late and everything, and that makes it even worse. So that's the modern lifestyle, which is literally killing us. So your schedule is killing you. That's the reason why I wrote this book, is your schedule killing you. Not only busyness, but if you're not eating the right food at the right time, if you're not exercising at the right time, if you're not going to sleep at the right time, because if you're not getting the sleep at the right time, you will be creating a lot of challenges with your nervous system, with your energy levels. Getting lack of sleep will actually reduce your energy significantly.
Yes.
What happens is you won't have any juice left in you to do energy, to do exercise, to do
Exactly.
physical movement. And if you don't do physical movement, then it affects your digestive routine and metabolic routine and your energy levels. Diet, sleep, and exercise. These are the tripod that Ayurveda talks about.
Yeah.
Diet, sleep, and exercise. And the funny thing is they all depend upon each other. If you eat well, then you have the energy to do exercise. If you do exercise, then you're pleasantly tired to fall asleep and stay asleep. If you fall asleep and stay asleep, then you eat the right food at the right time. So all of that is interconnected.
Exactly. And you know, Dr. Suha, I have the habit of sleeping at 10:30 the most, right? Most of my days. I go to bed early, but sometimes I stay like up until late. Dr. Suha, the next day, I cannot work. I don't work. I can't work. I can't do anything. I feel it in my body. I learn how to feel. I learn how to listen to my body. And the next day, I'm like half tank of energy.
Yeah.
I don't think properly. I don't feel. I cannot exercise like you say because I'm so tired. No, and it's amazing. And when I sleep at the right time, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning without any problem to meditate, and everything follow. Like for example, I meditate, then I do my routine, then I do exercise. By 8:39 in the morning, I'm done.
And I think that is the wisdom. I really appreciate you sharing that with your students and clients, because
Yeah.
the simple rule is when the sun is coming up in the sky in the morning, the sunlight is very tender. Okay, it's a tender sunlight, rising sun. So your breakfast has to be light. It's the kapha time of the day, where you should not be eating too much of donuts and pastries and stuff like that. You should be eating warm, cooked, small portion of breakfast. It has to be a light meal at breakfast. And then when the sun is at its peak in the middle of the day, that's when your main meal should be there. When the liver, the digestive fire, everything is awake, the body is completely awake, srotosis are open, you are eating the food, digesting it, because you're active throughout the day. And then when the sun is setting in the evening, around sunset, after the sun sets, everything is little tender, shutting down. Your digestive fire, your bodily systems are shutting down. Your dinner has to be light. It has to be soupy, it has to be warm, it has to be easily digestible, and it has to be at least 3 hours before you sleep. So if you sleep at 10 o'clock, you should be done eating by 7 p.m. Because it takes about 3 hours for your body to digest, from the first hour of kapha to the second hour of pitta to the third hour of vata. So by the time you finish the digestion, then you go to sleep, then you fall asleep in the kapha time, and you wake up easily without the need of alarm clock, and you have a lot of energy to do the exercise in the morning during the kapha time of the day.
Yeah, because when you eat late at night, right, you like you said, in the morning, you're puffy, you are bloated, and during the night when, for example, you are invited to a dinner and you eat a lot, right? When you're sleeping, even you feel the hot, you feel like your body is not letting you sleep, and you feel tired the next day and all bloated and puffy. And it's the same when we drink a lot of water during the night, right, Dr. Suha?
Warm water is a good idea.
Okay.
First thing in the morning is the best time to drink plenty of warm water when you wake up first thing in the morning. It's a good idea to sip warm water, but not very close to bedtime, so that it should not wake you up in the night for urination. But I think with the meals, drinking some herbal teas, having some warm water is also a good idea.
Yeah, it's one of the things that they laugh at us. My husband, my daughter, everybody in my house have the habit of, for example, if you go out and eat, the first things they ask you, it's what are you going to drink? And we never drink anything before meal or after our meal, or it can be like a herbal tea or something like that, right? And they are like, you're sure you're not going to drink anything? And I'm like, no, it's a habit already.
Well, and drinking hot water with a little lemon juice
Yeah,
is such a good beverage for the mealtime. So it's the
yeah,
best beverage that you can sip with the meal itself.
yeah.
Some hot water with lemon itself. And I think the key is if you make your dinner light, you have the energy to fall asleep, stay asleep. You should be waking up at these two very important times, which are meditative times. We call it as
Mhm.
sattvic times. The
Yeah.
sattva times are dawn and dusk. When the
Yes.
sun rising at that time, half an hour before the sunrise, half an hour after the sunrise is the dawn time where it's the sattva time. So you should be engaging into your bodily routine, meditation, yoga, stretches, exercise, oil massage, fixing a warm breakfast. You give yourself 30 minutes
Yes.
for yourself every morning.
Yeah.
And then you start your day and do whatever it takes. And then come back in the evening before dinner, give yourself another 30 minutes. You can stretch, you can do some breathing exercise, you can do your meditation. Again, it's the dusk when the sun is setting and the night is setting in. That is also a very sattvic time. So
Yeah.
during those two sattva times, if you are able to do some referral, self-referral activities, some spiritual activities for
Mhm.
yourself, because one is you energize your day by doing that in the morning, and then you energize your night by doing that in the evening. So you de-stress yourself before you go to sleep. Otherwise, you go to sleep very wound up. And people have hard time falling asleep, staying asleep because they're thinking about it. They're still into a working mode. They're thinking about the emails, messages, social media, all kind of things. And people are depressed and unhappy. So
Yeah.
it affects their sleep. And your sleep is affected because sleep, as we say, is the most potent anti-inflammatory activity that one will ever do.
Yes.
Most potent. And I
Yeah.
think we used to say that when we don't have anything else to do, what we do is sleep, but that's not true. The
Yeah.
science tells us now that sleep is such a powerful tool to regulate your immune activity, your fat metabolism, your digestion, your heart functioning, your brain functioning, your purification of the brain cells. Everything happens in a good, deep sleep itself.
Yes.
So I think it boils down to basic Ayurveda, understanding the purpose of human life, focusing on your diet, focusing on your sleep, focusing on energy. It doesn't stop you from going out and making money and doing anything else. It's just doing few things for yourself, participating in your own and health and well-being. Because at the end of the day, when you're sick, you're sick. No one else is going
Exactly.
to come and share your headache with them or your pain with them or your autoimmune condition with them. You are going to suffer yourself.
Yes. Yes. Dr. Suha, everything that you say, it's so important. And it's one of my, how can I put it? It's a wish that I have that people understand Ayurveda and practice Ayurveda. You know, when I teach Ayurveda, the first thing I said, it's you're learning to know yourself first, you know, because you have to learn yourself, how yourself works first, to then teach your family, your kids, or if you want to continue with your studies in Ayurveda. But you have to know how to work with yourself first, you know, even to be a instructor, you have to feel and you have to live Ayurveda. In that way, you can teach and you can talk about, you know, the benefits of everything that you're teaching. You know, the routines in the morning, the routines in the afternoon, the routines at nighttime. You have to live that. And it's not difficult. In the beginning, I was also, you know, surprised, and I said, oh my God, how am I going to put everything with my life, you know, inside everything that I have? But now I realize that every morning I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I meditate, and then I go and I do everything that I have to do. And by, like I told you, by 8:39, I was done. I'm done by 8:30.
And that's what I'm saying, because Ayurveda is a science that introduces you to yourself.
Yeah,
It's your own introduction about who you are,
exactly.
what your body type is, what kind of food make you feel good, what kind of foods do not make you feel good,
Exactly.
what kind of people, energetic interaction that makes you feel alive, passionate, what really makes you feel dull and depressed. It's a constant check with yourself.
Yeah.
That how do I
Yes,
feel? How do I feel when I do this? How do I feel when I don't do this? What is the exercise that suits me? What is the exercise that makes me tired? You have to be asking this question, not anyone else telling you to do that. So
exactly.
Ayurveda is a self-referral science. And as you said rightly, that initially we can tell you to do few things, to scrape your tongue, to brush your
Yeah,
teeth, to do some exercise, to drink some hot water. The proof is in the pudding. You start doing it and how you feel. And the things that make you feel good, you keep on doing this regularly.
exactly. It's what
Keep
I
on
do.
doing it regularly until it becomes a way of your life. This is how you live. That's how it should become. Because
Yeah,
it's not you're doing it because Dr. Suhas is telling you to do this. You're doing this because I feel it and I feel the shift. I feel the change. I like it. My body loves it and that's why I do it.
yeah,
It's not what is liked by your senses. There are two words in Ayurveda that we use. One is called as prayas and the other is called as shreyas. Prayas is what is liked by the senses, which is not always good for you.
yes.
Something which is liked by your sensory organs may not be always good for you. You may love the taste of a chocolate or a cheesecake or something on your tongue, which is good for the senses but may not be good for the body.
Exactly.
But the shreyas is something that your senses may not like it, but ultimately it is good for you. Okay,
Exactly.
so you
Mhm.
have a kale or chard or some leafy green that you're eating that your senses do not like it,
Mhm.
but your body loves it.
Exactly.
You waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, your senses do not like it, but your body loves it. And
Yeah.
slowly we are training our mind and the body to rise above the sensory cravings. And
Yes.
as the Shreyas, which is liked by the body, is also liked by the senses, that is what enlightenment is. What is good for me is also liked by my senses. I love my greens. I love my kale. I love my castor oil cleanse once a month. I love to wake up in the morning. I love to go for a walk. I love my meditation. All those things that initially you did not like, now it has become a way of life and you love doing it. That is half of enlightenment. And the job of people like you and me is giving people that experience to compare. If
Yeah.
something that makes you feel good, you should stick to it.
Exactly. It's what I tell them. I said, well, I'm giving you a list of things. Please choose two things,
Yeah,
and if you fell in love with those two things, do it every day. And I'm sure that when that becomes a habit, you will love some to integrate something else, and then you will slowly you will recognize what is good for you, right? And you will do it. It's like when I was at the Chopra Center, I remember we used to have David G as a meditation teacher. And he had that word saying, every morning when you wake up, you will have these words with you: rise, P, meditate. REM, rise, P, meditate. And that stuck in my head that today, after I went there 2013, you know, until today, every time I wake up, I do that. Then I clean my tongue. And when I don't do it, I feel that something is missing. Something is missing in my hot water. I'm like, and my self abhyanga, something is missing because my body loves that, and if I don't have time, my body he let me know. He knows how to let me know that I didn't do it because he loves it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think
Doctors.
we talked about several things here, and
Yeah.
in order to summarize some of the key things that I would want people to do is to
Yeah.
really understand and look at your schedule properly. I wanted to look at how your day looks like, and because you have to rejuvenate and you have to detoxify on a daily basis. You have to harmonize your internal rhythms, those of nature, to improve your daily self-renewal.
Yeah.
Your daily self-renewal, detoxification, purification, rejuvenation is enhanced by a strong physical and emotional digestive system. So you have to tell them about the dosha clock, as we call it. Early in the morning from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is the vata time. 6 to 10 a.m. is the kapha time. 10 to 2 is the pitta time. 2 to 6 is the vata time. 6 to 10 in the evening is the kapha time. And 10 to 2 a.m. early in the morning is the pitta time. And what the body is trying to do is also carry out variety of different functions at given times. In the morning, processing of your WBCs, regulation of the cortisol, your blood pressure regulation, your hemoglobin synthesis, your insulin regulation, your triglycerides, cholesterol regulation, your gastric acid secretion, because the body is carrying out activities in a clock-like manner. And when you are creating disruption, then we see that the diseases also happen at a given time. We see a lot of gout attacks that happen in the middle of the night. We see gallbladder attack that happen in the 1 o'clock in the morning. We see congestive heart failure and asthmatic conditions early in the morning. We see a lot of migraines that happen at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, you have a lot of asthma, congestion, sinusitis attack. Interestingly enough, around 7 o'clock in the morning, around 7:38, all causes of death, mortality happens around that time. So that is the peak time when people wake up and they have a whole day in front of them. They actually feel depressed and unhappy. And the chances of you getting a myocardial infarction are very, very high at that time in the morning. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, depression is at its worst. Allergic rhinitis, cold in the morning is worse. Rheumatoid arthritis symptoms are really bad in the morning around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. What happens thereafter in the middle of the day, angina, transient ischemic attack, stroke, all of those things is real probable in the morning. So for you to eat lighter breakfast, for you to meditate, for you to exercise in the morning is so important. Later in the afternoon, ulcer perforation, intestinal ulcer, tension headaches, osteoarthritis is really bad. So you come back home 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you meditate and you eat a light dinner, because 7 o'clock is when the body regulates cholesterol. Backache is really bad at around 8 o'clock in the evening. 9 o'clock you get restless leg syndrome. Menopausal hot flashes, night sweats is really bad at 10 or 11 in the night. So the body is creating these symptoms at a given time based upon what the doshic activity is happening in the night. So if you synchronize all of that, you're more likely to regulate and prevent the onset of disease. So eating the right food at the right time, following an Ayurvedic diet, plenty of plant-based diet, lots of freshly prepared meals, cooked foods, whole grains, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, colorful fruits and vegetables. All of those is important. Going to sleep at the right time, because the last thing that people sometimes do is exposing themselves to blue light before sleep. When you're looking at television screen, internet, cell phone, iPad, tablets, that blue light delays the secretion of melatonin. And so it doesn't allow you to fall asleep. You think you're stimulated. But if you prevent exposure to blue light 2 hours before you sleep, you will be able to fall asleep and stay asleep very easily. You can read a book, that's fine, but not on an iPad or e-reader, because that blue light interferes with the release of melatonin in the brain. And I think if we start following, there are wonderful tips and tools that I have given in the book. We talked about chronotype, different body types. We talked about the different tips of digestion and what time you should be eating, what time you should be exercising, what are the best time, benefits of sleep at the right time, and the description, what clock genes are. Okay, so it's a good, perfect handbook that actually talks about Ayurveda as a consciousness-based approach to health and well-being. And you have to participate in your own health and well-being. And if you're able to do that on a consistent basis regularly, you will slowly start feeling. that 2%, 5%, 10%, 15% is a slow improvement. And it slowly reduces your aging. Actually, me and Dr. Chopra recently, we have started a new program at the Chopra Foundation called as the Longevity Experiment.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
Yeah.
I follow you.
Perfect. And the longevity experiment is all about understanding everything that you can do that will improve the quality and the quantity of your life. And we are decoding science, we are looking at Ayurveda, we are looking at all the Vedic traditions. So it's a free program. Anybody can sign up and watch the videos and wonderful webinars. We are sharing information. We are writing blogs and articles on the Chopra Foundation website. So please share that with your group and have people join. And we have a lot of following in South America also. There are about 10 to 15,000 people who have signed up already from Latin America. But I think it's a good ongoing discussion about what can you do to participate in your own health, improve the quality of life, find the spiritual purpose of life, and how you can become a better human being.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Suha. It's amazing to hear you, to listen to you. It's just amazing, amazing. I wish one day you can come here to Chile also to have your wonderful teachings, with us. And well, you used to come here to Chile, right?
I will. I used to, and I will at some point. Okay.
Please, Dr. Suha, and thank you very much for your time. It's been just an amazing information. Everything that you said is just amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. Keep up the good work.
It's been an honor to have you in the Entre Nos. And I'm going now to say bye to our audience and thank you. Gracias por estar en esta hermosa entrevista con el doctor Suhas. Él habla de unos libros, él escribió unos libros que yo se los voy a colocar en los comentarios, ¿ya? Y también de entrar a la Fundación Chopra, donde hay programas para la longevidad. En fin, yo les voy a seguir explicando y hablando sobre este tema. Muchísimas gracias por su atención. Namaste. Thank you very much, Dr. Suha. Namaste. Thank you. Bye.